Well, two birds, two bats, and my inner circle of crazy people. I wasn't planning on doing a video today, but I had this little epiphany this morning as I was sipping my coffee and waking up and wandering off with my thoughts as I do in the morning. It occurred to me that today is February 3rd. Well, what's the big deal about February 3rd? February 3rd is the exact anniversary date of when I first filed for Social Security at the ripe old age of 62. And to this day, 6 years ago, I was the second person in line at Social Security. That's how chomping at the bit I was to get it handled. I had been thinking about it for years. I was past being burnt out. I was done with being done. And I wanted to start collecting, and I wanted to make my little trip over here to Asia. That had been on my mind for years. Now, one little quick sidebar is about 2.5 years ago, I did make a video titled Why I Retired Early at the Age of 62. And that video goes over the financial aspects and what I feel are the financial benefits of pulling the proverbial trigger early as opposed to waiting. Social Security, in my humble opinion, tries its best to get you to wait. And I argue the point in that video as to why you shouldn't. Now, you don't have to look far to find a guy smarter than me, trust me. And I think you already know that. But what was really rewarding in that original video was how many intelligent, educated, accomplished people, CPAs, financial planners, guys with degrees up the yin-yang in finance, concurred with my analysis. And I even had one guy write to me, and he says, you know what, I thought you were full of it when I heard that video. He says, but after I listened to it, I sat down with a pencil and a paper, and I figured out that it was going to take me X amount of years just to break even if I wait till I'm 65. So I'm going to pull the trigger. But well, good on you. And the only flack I took on that was that I said I retired early. And I did have guys go, what do you mean early? I'm 40 and I'm already retired. And I said, yeah, okay, good for you. But early means 62 is the earliest that you're allowed to apply for your Social Security benefits. But I'm not going to go over those numbers again. That would just be repetitive. What I wanted to do on this special anniversary of my retirement was kind of give you an overview of how it's been, the ups and the downs, and especially want to tell you what I consider to be the best part about being retired, even though it's on what most would consider to be a small amount of money, which is my Social Security. And granted, I have the little side hustle of YouTube, but that didn't start till 2.5 years into my retirement here in the Philippines. So for at least 2.5 years, I lived here on Social Security and did just fine financially. However, I wanted to really just emphasize and share with you guys what I find to be the most rewarding part of that and what some of my best days have been. Now, I'd like to go back in time and also just mention that when I was 6 years ago, when I was living in the States, it's been said before, and again, I don't want to repeat myself, but my life was very mundane. I was living alone. It was fine with me. I was cool being by myself. I had automatically just dismissed any idea of anything romantic starting up. In fact, I didn't have any desire to be with anybody. It had been too painful before. So I figured, I don't know how to do that properly, so I may as well just shine it on. And so that wasn't even on my radar. And I have to tell you that I've been meeting up with a whole bunch of guys recently that have come over here a week, a month, their first 4 months. And because of the channel, they've been kind enough to contact me and say, hey, what do you say we grab a cup of coffee or a bite to eat? And we get together and just chit-chat a little bit. And it's always been my pleasure to do so. And what's astounded me is how much America seems to have changed in the last 6 years. Now, when I was living there, my biggest problem really was just boredom and repetitiveness and showing up to a job that I didn't really like anymore and feeling burnt out and just chomping at the bit to make a change that I needed. Otherwise, I was just going to keep doing the same thing over and over again until I died. And what good is that? But when I lived there, that was my biggest problem and challenge. I really didn't I wasn't going through what apparently you guys are experiencing today. And that is all of the unrest and the dissension and the inflation and just this bickering and infighting amongst people. You know, I always thought that racism was kind of, and bigotry was pretty much in our rearview mirror. You know, in the 80s and the 90s, there was this vibe of like, we are the world, you know, with Michael Jackson and Bruce Springsteen and all those people. And there wasn't a lot of tension between different religions or races or anything like that. The gender issue was there, but it wasn't a big deal. I never gave it much thought. I thought, hey, if somebody wants to dress up like a lady, dress up like a lady. I don't care. You know, do what you want to do. It's your life. It doesn't affect my world at all. But it seems like, from what I'm hearing from everybody, is that all this ugliness of the past with this, it seems like no matter what you do, and it doesn't matter what color you are or what religion you are, if you say one wrong word to one person, you're automatically now a racist. And it's almost like it's watering down the effect of and the meaning of the word. I've unfortunately been exposed to some guys that were hardcore racist. And they didn't like anybody that wasn't just like them. If they weren't the right religion or the right color or from the right place, they didn't like them. And they are ugly people. And I always felt that they were in the minority, and they should be. I never wanted to associate with them. I always felt very uncomfortable around them, did my best to get away from them as fast as possible. Didn't happen often, but it did happen. And now it just seems that it's just the new catchphrase. And everybody's sort of walking on eggshells. Forget the man-woman relationship. I'm talking about people relationships. No matter who you encounter, this is what I'm hearing from guys that are coming over here now, that there's all of this crazy dissension and violence and uproar and tension amongst people where, like I said, 6 years ago, I didn't feel that vibe hardly at all. There were incidents that happened that weren't right and were addressed, but it just seems to have escalated to such a level that men of all races, of all religions, are just wanting to get the hell away from it. And I empathize and I sympathize with you. And I pray that you are able to pull the trigger like I did and either get your pension or your retirement or your fund or your investments and get over here and start, or go somewhere and start living your life. It is possible, if I can throw that beam of hope out there. That being said, I really want to get to the focal point, which is what is the best thing about just being on a small pension, or in my opinion, Social Security. Granted, I have a little side hustle with the YouTube, but that didn't start for two and a half years till after I was living here. So for the first couple, two and a half years, It was me and Social Security, and we did just fine. And I had a lot of experiences that were so much fun and so exciting, and adventures that I was occupied at all times. It seemed like every day I woke up and I looked forward to it. I can look you in the blues and tell you that I still feel that way today. However, I do have, if I sat here and told you every day was perfect, I'd be lying to you and you'd know it. And that's not my point. That's not what I want to do. I always want to be as truthful as humanly possible with you. Do I have rotten, low-down, lousy days? Damn right I do. Do I ever feel sick? Have I ever been sick? Have I ever had things just go totally wrong? Absolutely. But I just have to tell you that the good certainly surpasses the bad, if I can give you that encouragement if you're heading over here. But getting back to what I enjoy most about being retired and being on what you would call a fixed or limited income. Number one, I don't have any debt. Before I left here, or before I left America, I cleared out all the credit cards. The car was spoken for. I actually continued to work for a couple of months after I filed for Social Security, because you're allowed to earn up to X amount of dollars before it affects it. I never got close to that. But I think I made an extra $6,000 or $7,000 in the 2.5 months that I worked prior to coming over here, while collecting the benefits. And all that did was pad the kitty a little bit so that my safety net grew. And then I got on the plane and I made the trip over here. So I wanted to throw that out to you also. You can retire at 62, 63, whatever. It's not until you hit 65 that you can earn unlimited income without it affecting your benefits. So there's just a little nugget of information in case you didn't know. But getting back to, what do I enjoy the most? Well, what I enjoy the most is I don't have to ever show up for anything. My day is my own. And I've minimized my overhead to the point where I no longer stress out about bills, because between you, me, and a fence post, I don't have any. I have my fixed expenses, rent, electric, water, food, what everybody has. But I don't have car payments and credit cards and outstanding loans and college funds and all that kind of stuff. It's just me, myself, and I, and the budget, and my girlfriend. I think that two can live just as cheap as one, because there's sort of a balance there between the two, but that's another video. However, there's always a however in my videos. I reflect back on a time when I was first here, and I was on this quest to go find the marine sanctuary. And what's that got to do with being retired? I'll tell you. I was on this quest, and I was with a young lady that I was seeing at the time. And we got off back then on what was my gay-looking little chartreuse scooter, and we went to a place called Dowen, and we went on our hunt for the marine sanctuary, because at the marine sanctuary, I had been told that it was a preserve, it was beautiful, they had beautiful fish, they got beautiful coral, you can rent flippers, you can rent masks and snorkel, and go out there and just see all this beautiful stuff. And I was hell-bent that I was going to go do that. Well, we went out to go do that, and after 4 hours of trying to find it, we failed. We never did find the friggin' marine sanctuary. Now, did we have a good time? Yeah. I mean, we drove around, we saw different sites, we found a different restaurant that we had never seen, that if we hadn't have taken the trip, we never would have found that. We went down some goofy road that somebody said we should go down, which was wrong. And I actually saw a newborn calf, which I'd never seen before in person. And it was still wet from birth. And for me, that was just like miraculous. It was like so cool. I just parked the bike and watched this little calf with its mother. And I don't know, it's just the miracle of life, I guess. So that was special. Yet we didn't find the Marine Sanctuary that day. So we headed home. And I guess I had a look of, what's the word? I was looking disgruntled and maybe a little disappointed. And my little friend said to me, hey, what's wrong? You look kind of sad. You look kind of unhappy. And I said, well, we went on this mission today and we spent 4 hours of our life. And well, we had a good time and everything. I didn't find the Marine Sanctuary. And I'm kind of disappointed because I was really looking forward to seeing it. And without missing a beat, she looked at me and she said, and I'll paraphrase a little bit, but she said, you know what? It'll be there tomorrow. And if you're really that hot to trot and find it, go tomorrow. Well, if you don't want to go tomorrow, go next week or next month or next year. The Marine Sanctuary's been there for years, and it's going to continue to be there for years. And have you not remembered the fact that you're retired? You're supposed to just be taking it easy, kind of enjoying your life. And I was like, wow, I needed that. Because I was still kind of keyed up. I was here 7 or 8 months. And I hadn't quite shaken the old American attitude of, going on your mission and getting it completed. So I never forgot those words of wisdom. And I've fallen back on them many times. Now, if we fast forward to present day, my life in the last 5 years has made many twists and turns and changes, primarily for the positive. Now in a long-term relationship with a beautiful woman that I love very much. And we have been busy. We have been contacted by a lot of people, which we super appreciate. We enjoy, we look forward to. Invitations to have coffee, invitations to grab a bite to eat, meet new people. We've made, I don't know how many cool new friends over the last 6 or 7 months, almost uncountable. There's been a few clunkers thrown in there to boot. But for the most part, just the people we meet are just so nice. But it's come to a point where some days, even though all I have to do is get up and take a shower and get dressed and get on the bike or in the car and go into town and meet someone for coffee, I still feel like I've got to show up. And I never make an appointment that I don't keep. But there have been times recently where I've woke up and, like yesterday is a perfect example. I woke up and I was having my coffee and little baby May came out and gave me a morning kiss and said, so what's the plan? And I said, you know what? I said, I don't want there to be a plan. I don't want to do anything at all. I'm not in the mood. And I've got all these messages and I've got some emails and I've got these requests to go here and go there. And I feel a little guilty because I don't feel like responding to them. And wouldn't you know what May's reply was? Well, baby, you are retired. And it came rushing back, that memory about the Marine Sanctuary. And I said, you know what, baby? You're damn right I am. And the best day of my life, being retired, was I took my phone and I felt a little bit guilty, but I just turned it off. And I didn't look at it again the entire day. And I stayed in my house with little May. I got right off my carnivore diet. I made us something she'd never had before and fell in love with. I made grilled cheese sandwiches and chicken noodle soup. Now, if that ain't comfort food, I don't know what is. And we spent the day doing absolutely nothing. And that was, by far, the best day of my retirement. Because you know what? I reminded myself that although I've got messages and I've got emails and I've got places to go and people to meet and things to do, just like the Marine Sanctuary, they'll be there tomorrow. All right, kids. I'll hopefully see you in the next video.